Content over everything.
Assalamu alaikum. Today we're going to discuss discrimination amongst the Somali, particularly towards people that are referred to as Magan. Their name is not Magan. Yeah, their name is Midhab. Magan is a derogatory term used to describe them. The Midhab, they are the workers, really. They're the barbers and the locksmiths and what have you in it. They're the people that do the work, you know what I mean? And then we look down on them. We look down on them because they're hard workers, and it's disgusting, and it has to stop. And this is really, really old, and yeah. So I just wanna open out there to hear everybody's thoughts. You don't have to be. There's loads of people behind the camera. Obviously, you lot watching on YouTube can't see, but you know Somalis are a bit camera shy. So yeah, there's literally tons of people behind the camera. So what we're gonna do, if you don't want to be on camera, we'll just put the mic. We'll just put the mic under, putting the mic towards you. You can spit your knowledge, yeah. But yeah, look, I think this is a massive problem. I don't like it. Now, there is discrimination that Somalis do face from people that are not Somali all over Africa, in Europe, in the United States. But we can't be, if the world don't rate us, we can't be hating on ourselves, innit? And that's the reality, innit? And all this Landa versus Somali stuff has to stop, innit? Like, you don't have, the British don't say Team Scotland and Team England, innit? Like, you know what I mean? Why are we coming up with this bullshit? This week there was a Twitter beef between Somalis and Africans, well, West Africans, that sort of developed into a West Africa, East Africa kind of thing. Look, I stopped using Twitter like 4 or 5 years ago exactly because of this, innit? Because literally once a week there will be Somalia versus Somaliland. It'll be light skin versus dark skin. It'll be Africa versus the Caribbean, and bruv, it just got long, innit? It just got long. So now I just strictly use Instagram. But yeah, so I wanna speak to people. If anybody wants to come on camera and show your brother some support, so I don't look like I'm by myself. There's literally dozens of people behind the camera. That's so brave of all of you. Fantastic. All right. So what we're gonna do is gonna put the mic to you, and then you can tell me what you think about this subject. And you know what the really sad thing is, yeah? Like, I was having a really fruitful discussion, like literally 30 seconds ago before the camera turned on, innit? And then when the camera turns on, people don't want to speak in it. But
where does it come from?
What?
You said they're called Mid'ab.
Yeah.
Where does the word Midgan come from? Is my question. I have no idea.
I can't answer that question.
Yeah?
All I do know is that it's used as a derogatory term, to the point where if somebody calls, someone Midgan, that person is likely to fight you, innit? Like, it's not a joke, innit? Like.
Yeah, but how did it come about, the word Midgan? I'm sure a few people here are wondering the same thing. How did the term Midgan come about?
Does
I don't know if
anybody
anybody know. No? So they've been discriminated for a reason. Everything usually happens for a reason.
Yeah.
And so I've heard like folklore stories, but obviously I don't know if any of them are true, but one of them is that they are descendants of people who ate Bakhti. Bakhti being a term. Bakhti, I know a couple of people are laughing. Bakhti being a term for a dead animal to be eaten. It's not halal, basically.
Yeah.
But if you eat, you're probably better off eating pork than eating Bakhti, basically. And so apparently they are descendants.
They do black magic. There's all kinds of things.
All kinds of things can be, yeah. So they claim that they are descendants of people who ate Bakhti. First of all, if that's true, let's just say it is true, they didn't eat it themselves. They weren't even born at all. So I don't even know, like, let's just say they did eat Bakhti. They are children of those who ate Bakhti. So I don't see how we should be even holding that against them in the first place. But did they eat Bakhti, and who was there, by the way?
No idea.
I think it just didn't happen, basically. They probably just had a little bit of a more swag than we did. They probably had a little bit more dance moves, if you know what I'm saying, the Bantu stuff.
Yeah.
And they just didn't like it. Somali people tend to not like anything different.
Yeah.
So that's my theory. I think we discriminate anything we don't understand or we don't know, and we can't bother to understand it. I look Magan, I know.
I mean, it's what I do know about the Midhab is that they are the only Somali tribe that you find all over the Somali territories, in all 5 of the Somali countries. And one can argue that they're the indigenous people of the Horn of Africa, and we are all foreign. So how are we looking down on them?
Yeah.
How are we looking down on them? It's a disgrace. It really is. It's an embarrassment, isn't it? It's an embarrassment. And you know, a lot of people are not even aware of this because a lot of us have never been to Somalia, isn't it? And a lot of us have never seen it firsthand. A lot of us don't know the stories. You know what I mean?
Would you say the discrimination exists partly because our generation is probably still playing into it? Maybe like some people from my tribe or your tribe wouldn't want to marry today UK people who are from the Midab or Rahawain tribe, and so we kind of let it live on. Would you say that's probably why it's still here?
Absolutely. I mean, the tribalism is not just in Somalia, it's all over the diaspora. Wherever you find Somalis, you'll find tribalism amongst the Somali. Now, whether it's in London or it's in Mogadishu or it's in Toronto, it's all wrong in it. Yeah? Absolutely. It's all wrong in it. And we have to take steps to resolve this issue. The first thing is to recognize there is a disease. It is a cancer. Yeah. And honestly, people, please listen to me. Yeah. Racism. Yeah. Listen to me very carefully. The first racist, he was a bliss. Yeah. When I talk about racism, I am talking about shaitan. Understand the seriousness of the situation. Yeah. Understand the urgency of the situation. Because if you have the mark of shaitan, if you have the mark of Iblis on your heart, it doesn't matter if you have the mark of sujood on your forehead, innit? It does not matter, innit? I'm telling you now, it don't matter, innit? So, if you understand something, innit? When I'm talking about this racism, colorism, tribalism, I am talking about shaitan, innit? It is a very serious subject, yeah? It's a very serious subject. And, I mean, like, that's where it comes from, ultimately. Yeah. That's where it comes from.
Why it's still a ban and how to get rid of it. Obviously, the go-to answer is, if there's Islam, then there shouldn't be this discrimination. But I think it really does come down to our generation now. First of all, you might be discriminating them without even knowing it. So if you don't know why, then probably there is no reason, maybe just to leave it where it is. So I think it's up to us, especially those who are getting married, probably wondering if I have children of this type of tribe, then they'll be discriminated whilst you're still discriminating yourself. So I would say everybody just think about what you're doing and try not to be part of it, really. Yeah, man. That's it. That's all I want to say.
Does anybody else want to chip in? You don't have to be on camera. We can just put the mic under your face. No, so many volunteers, man.
What you said about if you've got the mark of shaitan in your heart, and it doesn't matter if you've got the mark of sujood. What do you mean by that?
What I mean by that is that if you have the mark of Iblis, you're a racist. That's what I mean by that.
No, but you said
you can be a racist. There's plenty of racists that pray 5 times a day. That's a fact, innit? That exists.
You're still a Muslim.
You're still a Muslim. I know. I'm not. Please, brother. I'm not saying nobody here is not a Muslim. I'm not qualified to make that statement, innit? So I'm not making that statement. If that clears it up for you. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, you're half Somali, yeah, brother. Is this something that you're aware of? Because like obviously, I don't know, innit? Like, if you ever been to Somalia or?
Yeah, been twice.
Yeah.
Been twice.
Is this something you ever seen firsthand?
You see them. I've seen them on road, like begging and whatnot. So that's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
All right. So another subject I wanted to speak about, and hopefully this is something that people will be more sort of knowledgeable of, is the 2 Somali boys that were murdered in Camden earlier this week. Elena Haristo. And yeah, it's sad, man. It's really, really sad. One was 17, one was 20. Not far from here, so maybe some of you knew them personally. So there is no doubt that this is an issue, not just for people who live in inner city London, but also specifically for Somalis. Like we are grossly overrepresented in the prison population. We are grossly overrepresented in the mental health institutions of this country. Yeah, in the courts of this country, in the A&Es of this country. Yeah, and it's not the white guy that's stabbing up the Somali, innit? It's another Somali, bro. More often than not, innit? It's not another black guy. It's another Somali more often than not. You know what I mean? And yeah, I just wanna ask people if you know what I mean. If what are your thoughts on the situation? What can we do to try help to save some lives? And yeah, if anyone wants to chip in. We were having such a good talk off camera, honest to God. Like, as soon as the camera comes on, it just becomes dead, bro. It just becomes dead. Like, some people, you have to chip in, man. Come on, man. Come on. Why were you so keen to speak earlier? But you don't want to speak now? Huh?
Something to talk about.
What?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, go on.
Like, Allah now, this obviously
Allah
the two guys that died, yeah. But obviously, it's a growing problem, innit?
Massive.
Obviously, there is no solution at the end of the day. But I want to know, what kind of solutions do you have? Because right now, I don't have no solutions. I don't know how to deal with it personally.
So I would put it down to brainwashing, innit?
I agree.
Like, brainwashing to the point where the man who's put that knife into our brother, he does not respect human life. Yeah? Now, innately, we all know the value of human life. And a child, a 5-year-old knows the value of human life. But somehow that has been brainwashed out of this person. What's made him do that? Yeah, what's the process that I've gone into it? I would suggest it's like it's societal pressures. So a young Somali boy is told essentially your only avenue of success is drug dealing. Like me growing up on a council estate in North London, the only Somalis I saw in nice cars were drug dealers. When I went to the corner shop, I didn't see a Somali. When I went to the butcher, I didn't see a Somali. When I went to see the pharmacist, I did not see a Somali. When I see the doctor, I did not see a Somali. Yeah, but the drug dealer, I saw a Somali. You know what I mean? So, what is this telling me as a 10-year-old, an 11-year-old, a 15-year-old? When the only person that looks like me is a drug dealer, that is telling me subliminally the only avenue that's open for you is drug dealing. Do you understand?
Okay, but you spoke about brainwashing, innit? What do you think is the source of the brainwashing?
What's the source of it?
Yeah.
Shaitan,
Obviously,
bro.
people are getting. I would say it's not only shaitan in it, but I think it's like there's a lot of like, I don't know how to put it into words here, but there's like people praise people that do drugs, that drug dealer, innit?
Yeah,
I think that's
glorified. Yes,
yeah,
I would agree with
that's
that.
the word. They're glorified.
Yeah.
And I think that's the problem in my opinion, innit? I want to know what you think about that.
Yeah, you're right, man. They're glorified in the music, in the films.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
And they're celebrating, and there's a reason they do that, because they want us to see ourselves as drug dealers, innit?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? So, and even if you look at like hip hop music went from, I'm a drug dealer to I take drugs to I'm a drug addict and I'm proud. Like, it's mad, innit? So, like, the issues that we're facing, they develop over time, innit? So when I was, you know what I mean? When I was 14, 15, 16, the only drugs that were acceptable at that time was weed, alcohol, and cigarettes. Any other drug was basically the same as heroin, innit?
Exactly.
Today, people are casually taking Percocet. Percocet is heroin, by the way, innit? It's literally heroin. That's not an exaggeration. Xanax is literally heroin, yeah? Lean is literally heroin, right? It's no different. And people are taking heroin like it's happy days because it's been glorified and it's been made acceptable, and people have been socialized to believe that it's acceptable for them to take it. So when I was 15, 16, 17, this was not an issue for me at all, right? But today it's an issue for 16, 17-year-olds. So even though I'm only 10 years, there's only a 10-year age gap, it's developed and it's morphed into something new, innit? So we should, bit of madness going on back there, but yeah, we should be aware of the causes of the problems, and also be aware that there are solutions. You know something that you could do? Yeah, if you see, I'll tell you, if you see a Somali boy walking down the street, acknowledge him. Just let him know he exists. Bro, people will only speak to me when I was in trouble. Yeah? When I was in trouble, that's the only time an adult will speak to me. No, just acknowledge him, bro. Just acknowledge him. Let him know he exists. That's a powerful thing in itself. Do you know what I mean? And we need to bring back this sense of kinship that we used to have amongst the Somalis, innit? We used to have this sense of brotherhood amongst the Somali. We need to bring this back. Yeah, a man from Djibouti, he's Somali. A man from Somaliland, he is Somali. The man from Ogden, he is Somali. The man from NFD, he is Somali, bro. It's not just the man from Mogadishu who's Somali. Do you understand? And we are all Somali. That's our word. Let's start using our word again. Yeah, our parents were born in the Somali Republic. My mum was not born in Somalia. She was born in the Somali Republic. Yeah. So let's go back to using our own terminology. Let's go back to our borders, which includes a huge part of Ethiopia, Djibouti. It includes a chunk of Kenya. That's our land that we've always lived on, right? So even though there are European borders there, it doesn't mean that we can't have the sense of kinship with the people that live there. Do you know what I mean? And really, ultimately, we should have that kinship with people that are Muslim, yeah? And we should have that kinship with people that are African, because I promise you, in the past, we used to trade with the rest of Africa. Now, the reason there's gold from Mali and Somalia is because we sold them camels, innit? Right? And this kind of trade, this kind of cooperation, this kind of solidarity used to exist amongst the Africans. It doesn't anymore, bro. It doesn't anymore. We see each other as enemies, and we see each other as different. And ultimately, all of this racism and this bigotry and this bias comes from othering. It's seeing someone as other to you. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, man, it's all about just challenging it and trying to get some solutions. Now, can I ask? Does anybody know any of those two young boys that died earlier this week? Does anybody know them personally? No? Yeah? Now the only reason I ask is because obviously we're literally down the road from Camden. We're not far at all, so maybe that was a chance. But yeah, Abdullah, do you want to chip in?
Yeah, what I'm start off is, I think all of this has to do with identity. Identity is the most important thing, because when you identify with something, you take their... Sorry? Alright, sorry about that. When you have someone's identity, you take a culture. And as Somalis, our culture is based on Islam.
Yes.
If something in our culture goes against Islam, we reject it. In the past, we used to practice FGM. Now, Islam tells us to reject it, we reject FGM. So, the most important thing, these kids that are on the street that are selling drugs, and that they don't have shame, not only selling drugs, our sisters, our brothers, they practice zina, they have no shame, but our culture teaches us hayat, teaches us sharaf, teaches us that you should be ashamed of doing that, not like going on the street. Zina is like something to be ashamed of, but today it's become a norm. Zina as in like promiscuity, fornication, something that you should be ashamed of. Like we have something called the Gara culture in Bur'a, where you can't go around sleeping with random people. That's our culture, and our religion tells us that's wrong. So the first thing as Somalis, Somali diaspora in London, you have to identify as Somali. Because the moment you identify as Somali, you will understand that selling drugs is wrong. As the moment you identify as Somali, you understand that zina and all of this is wrong. That's how it is. Even Muslims as well. So
not just Somalis.
Not all Somalis, but right. But then when you identify with black, the black identity comes with a culture, and that culture it promotes zina. That's me being real. You know, if you listen to the music, it promotes zina. Am I wrong?
No. I mean, but I would say all popular music promotes that.
Nah, it's hip hop, R&B, all of this promotes zina, and zina is the root cause of all problems. Our culture calls us away from zina. That brother today that's on the street, you think he's shotting because his mother's not putting food on his table. He's got hot food on the table. His father's work. He's doing it for girls. That's what it is. Zina is the root cause to all problems. Zina.
Ratings as well. No, Wallah is right. I tell a lie. It's ratings, bro.
It's ratings. It's both.
No, but ratings come first. Ratings definitely come first. Definitely.
Who's giving them ratings if it's wrong?
Of their boys.
It's so artificial, man. You came from your parents came from what do you call it? Somalia, Somalian, whatever you want to call it. Yeah?
Somali. What do you call it? Somali?
Okay, we're not dealing with politics, innit? Yeah? They came from what do you call it? They didn't come here because they wanted to move here. They came here because their country got destabilized. They came here because there's a civil war. And then for you today to turn to drug dealing, what are you on? You were given a second chance to change your life. We didn't come here to make what? Most of my brothers, I grew up in Tottenham, innit? Some of my brothers shot. Max, they make £250, £300 a week. You can make that doing stewarding. You can make that doing any other job. But why do you have to choose this lifestyle? It's wrong, man. It's wrong, man. The solution is turning back to your identity. Because the moment you turn back to your identity as a Somali, you understand all of this stuff is wrong. You understand that zina is wrong. You understand that little girl you're talking to is someone's sister.
Sure.
Yeah, is your sister. So today we've even felt like it's messed up, man. It's messed up, wallah, man.
I love how you said we're not talking about politics. You spent literally the whole time talking about identity politics. So that's interesting.
Yeah, but I wasn't talking about. I wasn't talking about that sort of politics. You know, two types of politics.
Listen, life is politics.
Yeah, life.
But are you talking? You said Somali limo, innit? You said if you understand your Somali identity, then this will happen.
Yeah.
Now you are a sak like me, and just like me, you've had your Somali identity challenged pretty much on a daily basis. When people refer to us as Landa, as if I'm not Somali. I am Somali.
I'm dealing with politics, man. I get that, bro.
But how can you identify as Somali if other Somalis don't identify you as Somali?
I grew up in Tottenham. In Tottenham, there's not many Saks. I've never ever been told, yeah, you're not Somali.
So has anybody called you a Landa?
Yeah, Landa, but this.
So is that not indirectly saying you're not Somali?
I think it's out of ignorance. It's out of ignorance. It isn't out of. It's not out of disrespect. I grew up in Tottenham. There's not many Saks in Tottenham. Yeah? I think there's probably like 6 families. Like not even 6. Like it's not many of us. Like we're a minority in Tottenham, innit? Yeah, but I've never ever been discriminated against. The Somalis in London, we're all one, man. All one, man.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Inspiring. Yeah. So going forward, if you meet someone from Djibouti, he is not Rare Djibouti. He's Rare Somali. If you meet somebody from Somaliland, he's not a Landa. He's Rare Somali. Yeah, just like the guy from Mogadishu. Right? My brother, you wanted to say something, yeah?
No.
Spit some knowledge, bro.
I'm listening, bro. I'm good, man. I'll jump in when the time's right, innit?
Does anybody else want to chip in? Yeah, go on, my bro.
I'm from what's it?
Yeah.
Question.
So let him just speak what he wants to say.
From
Sorry.
Eritrea, man. Come in, man.
Eritrea, yeah? So what's your view on like Eritreans, other Horn Africans, Ethiopians? Are we like brothers as well, or are we more separated?
Let him start, because it's
Especially
going to be
like
controversial.
London area.
So what? Is it like in London or back home?
No, in London. Let's talk about
In London, I think all Horn of Africans should come together. Whether you're Somali, Tigrinya, if you speak a Tigrinya language, Amhara, Oromo, I don't know, we all share the same culture, we all share the same phenotype, we all share the same Afro-Asiatic language, we all share a culture, and majority of us share the same religion. So it's best if we come together and network.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's the way I see it.
And religion as well. Some of us also Christian.
Yeah.
Some Oromos, Amhara, Tigrinya is Christian. So
Yeah.
what, is it still brotherhood there as well? If it's
Oh, that's a tough question.
How to
Yeah,
unite
I
with
have
that?
to tell you that. I have to ask you.
I don't think you can.
Why?
What do you mean, bro? What sort of brotherhood
yeah.
do you mean? What do you mean?
Like, for example,
Too
Eritrea.
many contradictions. There's too many contradictions. I can go partying and I'm kafar. I can go partying and I'm kafar and it's all good for them. And there are other differences as well.
So you're
I don't think there'll be unity though.
So you're trying to say our religions are totally opposite, so we can't come together?
Yeah.
I see.
But I want to say as well, just because like you say I'm Christian, doesn't mean like we're just gonna be partying, drinking all the time. Like, we have morals as well. We have like discipline. We want to like help our families as well. So it's not like I feel like we can unite on that sense. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Not free mixing and other kinds of stuff. So
No, he's talking about trade. Like, for example, if he has a business and you have a business, why can't you work together to
Trade is calm.
for benefit for the benefit of each other? You know what I mean?
I think that's calm.
That's all we've been doing for literally thousands of years.
Yeah. Before London.
So let's
I'm
just
saying
go
that's
back.
calm. Trading is calm. But when he says, oh, like unity,
Solidarity.
all boys, I don't think that's happening.
So can we have a
Anytime
sense?
soon.
Can we have a sense of solidarity with our neighbours?
Yeah. I respect him. He the same to me.
Because a stable Eritrea is good for Somalia. You understand that? Like, a stable Somalia is good for Eritrea. You know what I mean? The reason Ireland is a rich country because it's next door to Britain. You feel me? So like that's what we have to.
But I can understand why you're trying to say the Christians, the Christians in the Horn of Africa and the Muslims in the Horn of Africa, they can't come together. Because if you look at it from a historical perspective, when the Futh al-Habash, the conquest of Habash happened, there were Muslims, all the Muslims in the whole, they put their ethnicities to a side, they put their languages to a side, they put their different cultures to a side, and formed the union as Muslims, and they fought against the Christians. So there's always been like Christians and Muslims in the whole of Africa have always been against each other. So I can understand where you're coming from. You're saying Christians and Muslims can't be united because there's bad history. So I can understand.
Sorry, brother, you want to ask a question? Go ahead.
I want to ask, why do you think Somalis in my generation, don't have like a strong sense of kinship between us? Is it our parents' fault, our environment? What do you think?
So a number of factors. So primarily, I would suggest during our parents' generation, that sort of kinship was shattered. Like, if you understand the real horrors of the war in it, like I know our parents just say the Galba died, there was fighting, yeah. But if you really study the horrors of it, the things that happened, yeah, it's hard if you survive something like that to go back to this notion of Somalianism or this Somali patriotism. You know what I mean? So I would suggest that it started with our parents' generation, but we've continued that, right? So, for example, like growing up, I would just see Somali. I didn't really understand like this whole Landa, Hamadi thing or whatever. Yeah, I would just see Somali. So I had plenty of Somali friends. But when I would bring friends back, like to meet come to my house, play games or whatever, my mom would always have like funny comments if it was like Hamadi or somebody from the south in it. You know what I mean? She always have like a little sly little comment, little digs here and there, and that I don't really think she understood what she was doing there. But what she was doing is really saying, no, I want you strictly with your own in it, basically in it. Even though she never said that explicitly. You know what I mean? She never said that explicitly. So yeah, I would say it should start with our parents' generation, but we've definitely continued it. And fundamentally, the biggest breakdown in terms of kinship is this Islamic kinship. Take care, sis. So it's the Islamic kinship that we used to have as well, innit? That is gone. Like, once upon a time, the Turks saw the Arab as a real brother. The Arab saw the Turk as a real brother. Yeah, and then the First World War happened, and the Arab turned against the Turk and allied with the Englishmen. In Somalia, bro, there was Somalis that allied with the British against the Somali. There was Somalis that allied with the Italians against the Somali.
I'm gonna have to disagree with that.
Huh?
I'm gonna have to disagree with that.
He's a supporter of Britain. We've already established you're an agent of the Queen.
You can't say we sided with the British against the Somalis. You can't say
no,
that.
I'm saying there were Somalis. Yeah. Listen to me. There were Somalis that sided with the British, right? And there were Somalis that did not, that fought the British. Yes or no?
It wasn't siding. It was a business. I told you.
It was a business.
It was a business deal, man. We're exporting our export. It was not colonizing. We were a protectorate. We're not a colony. We're exporting our livestock from Berbera to Aden. It has nothing to do with colonialism. It has nothing to do with imperialism. It was merely a business deal.
Just a bit. So no politics today.
No politics. When you brought up, we sided with the British against the Somalis. You can't say that.
I said there were Somalis, not me. I didn't say we either. I said there were Somalis that sided with the British. There were Somalis. There were Somalis that sided with the French. There were Somalis that sided with the Italians. That's just a historical fact.
It was a business deal. It was a
business.
It had nothing to do.
However you want to justify it, that's what happened.
I've shown you the treaties. Sorry?
Other tribes to fight basically overpower other tribes.
Sorry?
Basically, colonization is to team up with other tribes. It's to give like job roles to each specific tribe.
It wasn't like that.
Almost.
When the British came to Berbera, they made a deal with the Habarawal, your tribe. And then his tribe, and they were exporting.
Blast!
They were exporting. No, but what it was.
And I condemn that.
What it
I'm
was,
not responsible for my ancestors.
One second.
One second.
Because the British had Aden, and Aden is above Berbera, and they were exporting the livestock from Berbera to Aden. So what the British said was, you know what? We're going to export your livestock from Berbera to Aden for you, but we're going to take a percentage, we're going to take a cut. And we said, all right, that's a business deal. That's the way we saw it.
Okay, so I see that as bribery. But
that's
listen,
not colonization.
so let's
In your country, and in their
country. We made a treaty.
In control of the country.
No, sorry, British.
If I went back to Somalia, I would have to pay the British person money to enter my own country. That's how it used to work.
No, that was in the 1990s. I'm talking about in the 18th
I'm talking about
century.
in the 1900s.
I'm talking about the 18th
You
century.
still
The
had
fact
to
they were in
pay.
your own country
In the
to begin with.
1890s,
No, the 18th
you had to
century,
pay
we
the
made a
British.
deal. His tribe made a deal with the British.
They were
to
still in the
export-
country and
And I condemn that.
That's how it works. Colonization
No,
works.
it doesn't matter what tribe.
It
Doesn't matter what tribe it is,
Congo,
right?
a colony.
They
was a
used to put a
protectorate.
tribe in charge of the rubber mines.
There's a difference between a colony and a protectorate.
It's not the same thing. Just to explain the difference, please. Yeah? So colonization is something that Africans experienced all over the continent. It was something that Indians experienced, and we were,
British
we
subjects.
were part of the empire, but we were not officially a colony. Like the British never sent the navy to us. You know what I mean? They never sent their Royal Navy to us. They came to us and they made deals with the people. Yeah, they made deals because they are masters of divide and conquer, and they studied the tension and the conflict amongst the tribes, and they chose their allies wisely. That's what happened, brother. That's what happened. And when the British came, the north of the Horn was ruled by who?
Us.
Who? What's the name of the sultanate?
No, that's in the east. That's in the east side, not the north. We're from the northwest. That's the northeast.
So Wasangali wasn't the whole of the north.
No. That was northeast.
So what was the name of the northwestern?
That was
sultanate?
us. We controlled it.
What's the name of it?
It's Hyde Sultanate.
Okay. So our main competitor was the Wasangali, yes?
Yeah.
Cool. Now the British said, we're gonna help you defeat them.
They
yes?
didn't say that. They didn't say that.
So what happened to the Wasangali? Are they still in the north?
No.
Okay, what happened to them?
It's all business. It's
What
all
happened to
business.
them? So what happened to the Wasangali?
Money.
First of all, what happened to them? What happened to them? If they're not in the north, what happened to them?
We outdid them.
We outdid them. No.
We outdid them. I'm not even being a tribalist and none of that. I
Stop.
shouldn't have said that.
listen to Eid, I'll put him in his
I
place,
take that
please,
back.
bro.
I take that back. That's tribalism. I take that back. But what it was business. Our ports, Berbera, is more successful than their ports.
Okay, listen. Let's
That's what it was.
just end it. Let's just end it as that.
Yeah.
However, in terms of kinship, it's another thing that Somalis don't understand. The people of the north of the Horn have this kinship with Adan, which is Yemen. Yeah, the south of Yemen is an extension. We see the south of Yemen as an extension of the north of the Horn, and they see us as an extension of them. We see them as Somalis that do not speak Somali. They see us as Arabs that don't speak Arabic. You understand? Right? We're brothers. Now, me as an Asaq, I have blood relations in Aden. I have blood relations in Harara, Ethiopia. Yeah, I have no blood relations in Mogadishu, right? But so I'm saying there are Asaqs that do, but me personally, I don't in it. But I don't personally in it. There are Asaqs that do, and there were plenty of Asaqs that lived in Mogadishu during the Union. But this doesn't mean that all of us collectively didn't have this Somali number. We didn't all collectively have this kinship and this notion of a collective identity. And yeah, there were sailors amongst us. There were poets amongst us, writers amongst us. And we've been doing amazing things for thousands of years. Let's just go back to it, man. Let's just go back to it. But yeah, I wanted to hear your thoughts on what we were discussing off camera, innit? I don't know if you want to bring it up on camera.
Bring what up?
Asaq, innit? Sheikh Asaq, and
As in what?
as in his lineage.
Oh, they say he's from. He was in Basra, Iraq. He was descendant of Hussein ibn Ali. He moved from Basra to Hadr al-Maut. In Hadr al-Maut, he got married to the king's daughter, the princess. And from there, he crossed the Gulf of Aden. He came to a city known as Sayla. Sayla is a very old biblical city, very old city. The fifth mosque,
Fifth
oldest mosque in the world. It was built in Sayla. Not many Somalis know that.
Yeah, it's mad.
It's
mad.
regarded as Masjid al-Qiblatain. It's got two qiblas.
One to Jerusalem,
one to Mecca, and one to the old Qibla, Jerusalem. The fifth oldest. The mosque was built before the Quran was even completed. So Islam. When Gary last week said, it irritated me when he said, Somalis got enslaved by the Arabs, this and that. It's nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. Islam's got nothing to do with Arab supremacy. The mosque, Masjid al-Qiblatain, is the fifth oldest mosque in the world. It was built by the Sahabas. And he's trying to say, Arabs is supremacy and Arabs.
We're calling you out, Gary.
Absolutely.
His lies.
Back to from Sayla, he travelled to a city. He got married to a girl from a tribe called Maglada tribe, a Somali tribe. From Maglada, from Sayla, he travelled to Harar. Harar is another very big city for Muslims. He got married to my mother, and then from there, We travelled from Harar to another city called Maid. Yeah, we're descendants of Ali ibn Talib, descendants of the Rasul. But I don't think like we should put emphasis on our lineage because at the end of the day, we're all human beings, innit?
We're all human beings.
all-
Is this something that you've recently
We're not going to be judged upon our lineage. You're going to be judged upon our actions and our deeds. So to put emphasis on our lineage is wrong. You know what I mean? We're all the lost sons of Adam.
The only reason that I brought it up is because a lot of the Isaacs have literally no idea. No idea.
You don't need to put emphasis on your lineage. It's like it's not a big deal.
It's not a big deal. You're correct, and I would 100%.
No, but that, that's.
But I think it's something that you should be aware of.
Still lineage. Some Somalis like they turn to that. It becomes like a religion for them. Their tribe becomes a religion. That's all they know. Like they would turn against Islam because of their tribe. So you shouldn't put emphasis on it. It leads onto a bad road.
To be fair, like that's a reaction that I've got from a lot of Somalis in the last week since I came to be aware of this fact. However, when I speak to like North Africans, they don't have this reaction. They're like, oh, mashallah, so am I. We're cousins. Like that's their reaction. Whereas Somalis are like, oh, should we talk about? Oh, nah, bro, this is not. Is it even true? Show me the evidence or whatever. Like, but other people, they're like, oh, mashallah, so am I. Or yeah, that's the thing, mashallah, cool.
Because I think as Somalis, tribalism has been a big problem for us. For thousands of years, we've been killing each other because, oh, I'm from this tribe and you're from that tribe. So I think for what's happening right now, the Somalis right now, they've become sick and tired of tribalism. So they don't, like most Somalis, they just don't, like, they don't put emphasis on the tribes.
To be fair, just to add to that, there is a tribe that is very loud about this, and they call themselves Asharaf. Asharaf is the title given to someone who's a descendant of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Or I may, if somebody could correct me in the comment section, perhaps it can apply to somebody who's related to the Prophet, and if you're descended from somebody who's related to the Prophet as well. I'm not entirely sure on that, but as far as I know, if you're a direct descendant of the Prophet, your title is Asharaf, and the name of the tribe is Asharaf. So they're very, very like loud about it. And one of my friends is Asharaf, and when I told him about it, he told me like how his dad growing up would, tell him stories and about his lineage and stuff like that. Whereas for me, this is something I was not aware of till about a week ago. Now this
a week ago, you've always known that you're Ishaq.
No, I'm saying that Ishaq came from the lineage that he came from.
I told you before, man.
You did tell me before, and what did I say? I rejected it. I said this is propaganda. This is Shia propaganda. That was literally my words. I said this is Shia propaganda.
I had a shit bro that came to me the other day. I didn't even speak to him. Oh, Abdullah. No, he didn't say to me, Abdullah. He said, oh, are you Ishaqi? I told him, oh, what's this guy know about Ishaqi? He said to me, oh, and I told him, yes, I am Ishaqi. And he told me, oh, yeah, you're Ahlul Bayt. No, he didn't tell me, you're Ahlul Bayt. He told me you're a Sayyid. And I was surprised, what's this guy on about? So I went home, I googled Sayyid, I was thinking, what on earth is this guy on about?
So yeah, I mean, look, like I said, about like school times, I first heard this, that Sheikh Ishaq is a Sayyid and therefore you're a Sayyid. I've heard this from Shias in school, innit? Right? And I always used to say, nah, because basically they'll say, oh, I used to do taqiyya, I used to be Shia.
Someone comes to
and
you
I was just like,
no,
I'm not on that. And I would just reject it, innit? Now, about a week ago, I came across a document, which is a manuscript from Sheikh Ishaq. Now, earlier we were talking about racism, so I think this is relevant. The reason this manuscript exists or came into existence is a really sad reason. So, as the brother here explained, Sheikh Ishaq, he came to Yemen before he came to Somalia. He married one woman in Yemen, and he had 2 children in Yemen. Then he came to the north of the Horn. He married 2 Somali women.
No, one in Sayla.
One in Sayla,
and then he came to Harb. That's where he got married to my mother.
Okay, so in Somalia, he had what?
It was not Somalia at the time.
Okay, in Sayla, he had one wife and 4 children.
Yes.
Okay, in Harab.
He had 4 sons. 4 sons. I don't know about the daughters. I don't know.
So in Harad, he had a further child, innit?
No, another wife.
Another wife and another child.
Yeah, no, another 4 children.
Another 4 children.
4 boys.
Now, when the children, the non-pure Arab children, which were the children in what is modern day Somalia and modern day Ethiopia, when they came of age, Ishaq wanted them to marry another Asharaf from somewhere around the world. And yeah, so he invited them to come to Somalia to see them. And when they came, they were basically like, look at these people, they're ugly, they got curly
They
hair.
didn't say ugly. They said they were dark skinned.
They were dark skinned, they got curly
They
hair.
didn't say ugly.
At least I'm just paraphrasing. But yeah, you can correct me. Thank you for the correction. But anyway, they rejected them based on their appearance. That's fair to say, yes? So Sheikh Isaac wrote this manuscript, and essentially it says that, these people are not just your brothers in deen, but they're your family. Don't be put off by their appearance in it. If they come from the desert, if they are hungry, feed them. If they are thirsty, give them water in it. These are not just your brothers in deen. This is your family. Yeah. So this document was given to the two Arab sons, or one of the two Arab sons, and then he travelled around the world getting stamps and seals from other sharifs in it around the world. So this document, which exists today in Damascus, is fully verified. Nobody can say, there's any doubt about its authenticity.
It's a big library in Damascus called Al-Zahiriya Library. It's a big Islamic library. It was once even the Syria's #1 library at one time, but it's no longer Syria's #1 library. They've got a new big library, and the manuscripts in the Al-Zahiriya Library. But I personally believe, as Somalis, not even only as Somalis, as human beings, we shouldn't put emphasis on our lineage. We should so we're not going to be judged upon our lineage. We're going to be judged upon our actions and our deeds. Yes, we are Ishaqis, we are descendants of Hussein, but you shouldn't put emphasis, man. I don't think.
No, absolutely, you're right. I don't think you should put emphasis. However, the only reason I wanted to talk about it is because I had no idea, and I'm pretty sure that there's other Isaacs out there that have literally no idea.
So you're putting out the content. I see.
Just put it out there. But this doesn't mean you're better than anyone. I'm not better than anyone. Yeah, I'm just a man. Yeah. So I want to make that absolutely clear. Yeah. But my lineage is what it is in it, and I don't think it's something I should be embarrassed about. I don't think it's something I should be ashamed about. You know what I mean? It's also something I shouldn't boast about, not something I should show off about, but it's certainly not something to be embarrassed about. Do you know what I mean? So I just want other Isaacs to come to understand their lineage. Also, remember, this is not just a purely Isaac thing. If you are Darud, yeah, you also have lineage back to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam's family. If you are Ashraf, you also have lineage back to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And I think there's a few others as well. There's a few others. But yeah, does anybody have any comments about that?
I got one question for Abdullah here.
Yeah,
basically, you know how you talked about we shouldn't put emphasis on it. Yeah? I agree with you on that. Yeah, but when someone says you're Ahlul Bayt, the Prophet family, it holds something in it. So obviously, I'm not saying you should be arrogant in regards to it. I'm just saying sometimes it comes with a responsibility. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
Well, as in what? Like, what do you mean responsibility?
Like when you're from the Prophet's family, you get me? You have to you should.
There are responsibilities. I'm not sure what the responsibilities are.
It should be a leadership.
I don't know.
That's what that, and also
it should have a sort of leadership to it. You know what I'm
somebody
saying?
mentioned that earlier to me. I'm not sure.
I'm not saying we should be yeah.
Oh, I see.
So the brother here said, if you come from the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam lineage, you are not allowed to take charity. So there are some things that apply exclusively to those who are descendants of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
You take charity from from Britain. You take charity from the whole world. Huh?
No, I'm saying we as a
you take aid from the whole world, international.
So we're not allowed to take zakat in it, for example.
Oh, zakat. Oh.
No, but we're not. This is Ahlul Bayt. We're not. Because Abu Lahab wasn't. Abu Lahab was a kuffar. Okay, but Abu Lahab. Yeah, exactly. And he isn't Ahlul Bayt.
So that's
we're born.
So just to explain to people that are non-Muslim who he's the
Abu Lahab is a kuffar, a waste man. Yeah. So him, he isn't Ahlul Bayt. So how can we say, we're Ahlul Bayt?
I don't personally.
I don't say Ahlul Bayt.
I don't ever say Ahlul
We
Bayt.
don't I don't glorify it, but at the same time, you know what I'm saying?
I don't think anyone should
You shouldn't even talk about that.
Yeah,
true, but it's something good to know, innit?
makes no difference at all.
Exactly. When you're putting a soil, you're not going to be asked, are you from that tribe or this tribe? You're going to be asked, who's your God, what kitab do you follow,
Exactly.
and who's your prophet? You're not going to be asked, oh, are you from that tribe? You're not going to ask that.
You're right. You're absolutely. Listen,
what's your tribe and that?
I agree with you. I agree with you. However, the Prophet did say when you're marrying, one of the things you should consider is someone's lineage, and you have the best lineage.
Oh, you can't say best lineage,
Brother, is that not the best lineage you can have?
No,
to come from the Prophet.
Not that. It's like when you say best lineage, what about the other people?
Okay, stop for I take that back.
What about the other people?
Cool. Let me rephrase that. You have great lineage.
What about the other people then?
They have great lineage. Can't they all have great lineage? But you have great lineage. Why can't you people listen? Like I said,
great lineage. I can't. You can't.
What,
say, I don't agree with you on that one.
Yeah. Okay, so it's not important at all.
When you say today you're great, what about the other person? What sort of lineage does that person have?
Bro, it's not about putting anybody else down. Yeah, I'm not trying to put anyone else down. Just because I'm trying, if you are trying to uplift yourself, why does that necessarily mean you're putting someone else down? Doesn't mean that, innit? You know what I mean?
I won't ever say I've got a great lineage, man.
Yeah.
Because it's gonna lead on to another road where I'm gonna walk around and say, oh, I'm so even arrogant.
Okay, I agree with you. Actually, you're right. I retract that. But yeah, can I ask? I mean, how did you feel when you came across this piece of information? Because I was in total denial, I'll be honest.
At first, I rejected it as well. I won't even lie to you. Yeah? First, the reason why I did research on this is because generally, when you look over my phenotype to an extent, like I don't look like the average. So I'm not showing off or boasting. But I'm saying the average Somali doesn't look like me. You could agree. Like,
yes.
My skin tone's yellow. It's just, yeah.
You look.
I look kind of funny, innit?
Yeah, you look kind of
so
bougie.
I was a bit. It looks me. I look me. So I was interested in it. I did my research in that. I heard my mother and father would say, "Oh yes, we're from the descendants of Ali, Hussein ibn Ali." But then I never took it serious, innit? Obviously, when I looked into the history and that, and then I took that road and I realized, oh, rah, I'm from I'm the descendant of Ali ibn Talib. So then, yeah, I took it as like, I didn't take it that. I don't know, man.
I just didn't care.
I just don't put emphasis on it.
It's something good to have in you, innit?
But it's not something.
But you shouldn't pick up
You
yourself.
shouldn't pick up yourself. It's wrong, man.
But it's good though. It's something good.
It's good to know your lineage.
Sorry, yes, brother.
Basically, in the Quran, Allah said He made us into nations and tribes, so we may know so we may know each other.
Yeah.
So basically, if you know what you are and who the others are, it's not necessarily a bad thing. But it becomes a bad thing when you say, I am better than you.
Yes.
Because that's from, Iblis said to Adam, I am better than you because I made the fire. So when we take that route, it's a bad route. But as general, when you're just like, when you're knowing who you are and what you are, it's not necessarily a bad thing. That's what I want to say.
It's advice to know your lineage. It's good to know your lineage. It's important actually, but you shouldn't pick up yourself. I think you're superior than someone else.
But that's the problem with Somalis, isn't it? It's because the whole lineage thing got to us. It's become, Qabil has become a religion for us. You meet a Somali, they won't ask you Muslim type. The first thing they will ask you is Ulama type. That is the first thing they ask you. It's become a religion to an extent. So that's the reason why, as Somalis, I think we should stay away from this lineage, whole lineage malarkey, man. Stay away from it. Because it's going to lead on to, oh, I'm from this tribe, and you're from that tribe, I'm better than you. It's a slippery slope, man. Just got to stay for it. What do you want to say, brother?
I just thought it was a little bit. I'm not from Britain or something, so I don't know if everybody can understand me, but I think it's a little bit paradox to say I'm very, or my lineage is great or something like that, because when you say you should be judged by your actions and not where you're from or something like that, and then you say your lineage is great, I think where your ancestors are 2,000 years ago, it shouldn't be about any priority. And now you're living in Britain, I'm living in Germany, and I think these kinds of thoughts or something always put up something like small walls or stuff, instead of just saying I'm from there. It's not about being ashamed about where you're from, because everybody has, as you said, great lineage. Everybody has nice ancestors.
We all go back to Adam alayhi salam.
What?
So we all go back to Adam eventually.
Yeah, maybe, but I think it's weird to just look at religion when you're like in London and you see, for example, like the National History Museum and stuff like that, and when you really see that, basically most people are. It's probably not like it's written down in the Bible or written down in the Quran. It's probably not like that. It doesn't say that the Quran or the Bible doesn't help you to become a better man or become a better person. But it's probably not the full truth. what's written down there.
No. The Quran does make a good person.
What?
The Quran does make it teaches us morals. It teaches us from the wrong, from the right. It does.
Yeah, no, I was trying to say it tries to make many people better, but I think it's not that great to just look at what's written down in the Quran or in the Bible, because many passages of the Quran or Bible are not that great, and many.
Now we're going off topic.
So first of all, with all, I don't know, like if you're aware, but this is Somali corner, innit?
No, you can't just tell us straight for like, bro. You know, as Muslims, what we believe is that the Quran is from the Almighty, the Creator of the heavens and earth. So everything in the Quran is solid, it's 100%. That's what we believe.
And if you
can't be wrong or it can't be right.
I swear to you, if you read the Quran with an open heart, you'll come to the same conclusion. Of this, there is no doubt.
I wasn't disregarding something, but I was just also for like thousands of years ago, your ancestors weren't even Muslim. So
that's
no.
That's,
I'm not saying.
I wouldn't accept that. No.
Yeah, but so the Arabic or the Muslimization of the African states isn't that early.
So hang on, you are, with all due respect, ignorant. Now you can be educated on the subject, but you have to start with the premise that you are wrong. Yeah, are you willing to start with the premise that you are wrong?
Wait 1 second. For example,
like I said,
2,000 years ago, Africans weren't Muslims.
You're talking rubbish.
Muslim means submission
to God.
To
people were
Muslims. That's something else. All right.
No, you're talking rubbish, my brother.
I said that's something else.
Infiltrate the thing, man.
You're infiltrating, bro.
I was giving you the right. I just said you're right about we are talking away. That's what it was. I was arguing something else, but I think,
brother, you know, a Muslim is a person that submits to the one God. So we believe since Adam, the first prophet from God, Adam, till today, we're all Muslims. If you submit to God, that there is one God, that you're Muslim. That's what we believe.
Yeah, that's
so my ancestors before Islam, if they believed that there was one God and they took the religions from the prophets that Allah sent, they were Muslim. Isa, Ibrahim, they were Muslim.
If you're upon them, you're Muslim.
Yes, so some Christians were Muslim, some Jews were Muslim. That's what we believe.
But I think at the time
Abraham, that was
not now.
If you're upon the Easter's time, Ibrahim, then you're Muslim, innit? Not that you're Christian in that time.
Islam didn't start in the 7th century. Muslims didn't start in the 7th century.
It started at the beginning of humanity. It started from Adam. Adam was a Muslim.
Diverted to
but
Somali.
I was just
bro, because it's not infiltrated.
I was just trying to say that's not scientifically proven or something like that.
It's not scientifically proven.
Who says science is always right?
Of
Diverted.
I'm saying, wait,
Stop.
1 second.
I don't care. Stop. I really don't care. Going back.
There's no offense. Respect, bro. There's no offense.
Anyway.
Oh, it's fine.
Anyway, going back. What were we talking about before?
I can't remember.
Lineage.
It's good to look at your
Listen, I only want to talk about this on camera because I had no idea. Yeah, and I'm sure a lot of people don't have any idea that this is their lineage. You're right. It's not something to boast about. It's not something to make you arrogant and to make you think like I'm better than X, Y, and Z. It's not. I'm not better than anybody else. I'm just a person, innit? You know what I mean? I'm just a man, innit? However, it's something I had no idea about, and I'm sure there's a lot of people that don't know. So I would suggest researching. Sheikh Isaac was a very famous scholar during his time. There was a lot of books out there on him. So just read, find out about him. Ultimately, you know, he's a war, isn't it? So find out about him, you know what I mean, and just take it from there. And also, if you're not Isaac, this what I'm telling you is also part of your story, because we are all Somali, yes? And we have a collective story, and this is part of our collective story. You should be able to take some pride in it as well, even though it's not you. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, what do you want to finish on, brother?
Don't be arrogant, innit? If you read about Sheikh Ishaq, please don't take the road where you become very arrogant and you go pointing your fingers at other people and saying, oh yeah, you're not from our tribe, I'm Ishaq, you're this, you're that. Please don't take that route, innit? It's a very bad road, man. And that's I want to end it.
What about you, brother? Shipping anything? Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Take care, bro. Yeah. Anybody else want to have any closing statements?
I want to say I appreciate what you lot are doing. Even as a fellow African, I say I appreciate what you lot are doing. You lot are respecting your culture, respecting your heritage, and obviously content everything as well.
Big up content.
Shout out to Colonial. Only impartial YouTube channel. Even some of I'll say this. Even some of the Muslims. Even some of the Muslims.
But we get you hella views though.
Not even that.
Anything that has Somali in it, hella views.
Nah, don't say that.
That's why I'm here. Cause I saw the video from.
Yes, you see that content? Come on.
Some of the Islamic channels, YouTube channels as well, they do some un-Islamic things by cutting the videos and being very biased. You have to always let the truth prevail. Always have to let the truth
Content
prevail.
over
And
everything.
it's what I respect about this channel, content over everything. The channel's impartial.
Impartial.
So
And
I've
also
got respect.
a content, like you do put up stuff that, you know, detrimental to you, innit? Like, which is crazy. Like, I don't understand why, innit? Yeah. Why would you put Tan up knowing that there's bare strikes against it?
The truth will prevail, fam.
The truth always prevails.
Truth will prevail, innit?
But yeah, man.
You know what? Yeah, what I gotta say. How comes man ain't striking Tan when he's on any of the Dawa channels or anything?
Yeah, that's a bit hypocritical. Yeah.
You shouldn't even record the guy, man.
That's true.
No, but it's not like that though.
That's a good point.
You shouldn't.
If a man's in a debate, the speaker's corner, and man's gonna film it. That's how it goes, isn't it? Man's gonna film it, unedited, and put it up. You get me?
It's not like you're pushing a bias. You're just recording the.
Yeah, we're not saying, oh, you lot should rate Tan, or you lot should rate.
See by the titles as well.
The titles even.
If I wanted to promote Tan as if it's something good to follow, I'd have been like Tan smashes Muslims.
Yes, the titles are very, very, should you call it, unbiased.
Even though, nah, not with me though. Not with me, bro. Nah, you screwed me a couple of times. Nah, bro.
We'll sort it out. I'm sure you change. I'm sure you change the title.
Nah, man.
I'm sure you change the title.
When I did that video with Mahmoud and I said, I basically said it. My point I was trying to make is Islamically permissible for you to refer to me as Aki, but we're not family because of the fact that you're doing what you're doing in it, but you're still acting. You can still refer to me as Aki. Understand? You're still my act. That's what you called it. You're still my act, and that was misrepresented what I was trying to say in it. I was annoyed with you, and I'm not gonna lie. We can clarify the paragraph. Bro, allow it.
Most of the time, the titles are very unbiased.
Most of the time, you do try in it. I do. Well, no, pretty much you try in it, and you know what I mean. It's impossible not to be biased in it, but you do try in it. You do try.
Man's got biases.
Yeah, you do try.
I don't want my biases to affect the title or the video. You get
Let me ask you, content. As a non-Somali, obviously you've heard us for the last couple of weeks. What like is there something that you know? Bits and pieces that you knew of before? Is this all like brand new information?
Man's learned enough still. I've learned enough, man. Obviously, I said I got some Somali brethren around now. One of them's in the bin, doing it like he ain't coming home. He's there forever. And the next one, he breezed that back to Somali for the same reason. You get me, sir? But them man all south. You get me? So I never really knew no Northlands, you get me? I never knew no Somaliland youth, you get me?
Yeah. Oh, right.
So man's been learning. I didn't really know that there was...
The vision was so much.
Yeah.
Well, you know the difference in Northerners and Southerners now.
Yeah.
Rah, man.
There's five countries that make up Somali. Yeah, we can close on that in it. Those 5 countries are Somalia, they are Somaliland, Djibouti, the Ogden, and the NFD. Yeah, and we are all rare Somali, and alhamdulillah, we're all Muslim. And don't forget that, bro. Your tribe, it is rare Somali. It's a Somali tribe.
A Bantu Somali.
Oh, yeah. Can of worms.
Yes.
That's a can of worms, mate.
Yeah, they are Somali national, and they are your country. They are Somali
ethnically Somali?
Of course they're not. They're Bantu. That's a different ethnicity. But they're still national. They're still Somali
what
national.
I think is the citizenship, the Somali citizenship, and the Somali ethnicity is the same word. So it's confusing. So sometimes when you go to a Somali person and you ask them, is a Bantu Somali? They'll react and say, oh no, Bantus are not Somali. But they're thinking from an ethnic perspective. But from a citizenship perspective, the Bantus are Somali, yes.
They are Somali, so are all of us.
I think we've got to clarify it. They're Somali citizens, but they're not ethnically Somali.
I used to the title I put still my Aki. I put fisherman clarifies still my Aki.
Yeah.
So you clarify why you still your Aki from. What's wrong with that, man?
I didn't like it, right?
Back up, man. You start making it like a put. Let me just put it in the camera. Because you know if you go home and change it, you get me? still, man. Let me focus, man. Hey, you're lucky you don't fish, man.
Oh man.
I ain't trying to sabotage.
I love you. Alright, what did you get? When did you get?
Somebody called her real quick. You get me?
Hey, cuz.
Still, man. Fishing them Arafat. Still, man.
Slip still.
Alright, then.
Man was covering me.
Slipping.
Bro, just edit that out in it.
No edit.
No, you don't do anything, man. Just content of everything.
Just fine to wrap up,
Just cut it. Yeah, listen. So yeah, we all done, yeah.
Now, Somali Corner is a good initiative, though, man. Man, I'm learning enough.
Yeah.
And from this as well, like I've been noticing a few Eritreans been coming down still.
Whoa.
You get me? I've been noticing that.
Down,
Big up the Eritrean, brother.
Bring them down already.
Bring them all down.
You know what's good? I feel like it's inspiring people to talk about their history. And as man was saying earlier, right, even though man ain't religious, like man was saying, we'd be made into different tribes so we can know each other.
Yeah.
I feel it's good for us to let everybody know about us, our histories. You get me?
Allah says that وَقَبَائِلَ لِتَعَارَفُوا. I made the tribe so you can identify yourself.
Yeah.
So it's good, man. All you get
Know about yourself,
get Eritrean, Ethiopian, get them all to come
I
down.
feel like we'll have more respect for each other when we know our history.
We learn from each other as well.
For real.
We learn from each other. So try to bring down your Ethiopian, Eritreans.
We have the Eritrean corner, you get me?
Yeah, we do that. Habesha corner, we do that.
Habesha corner. I'll jump in because my mother is a Habesha. The brother of our tribe is a Habesha, so I'll jump in as well.
Even when you were saying how you didn't know about the division. One thing you said, Fisherman, in your previous videos, I remember you saying, I just remember off the top of my head, like you said, like everyone in Horn Africa is kind of homogenous.
Yes. So what I mean by this is that if you compared Somalis, Eritreans, and Ethiopians with any other people group in the world, Chinese, Americans, whatever, Europeans, whatever, what you'll find is that we are far more similar than any other people group.
I would have to disagree with that.
No, I'm saying genetically, we are far more similar than any other ethnic group. I'm not talking about language, I'm not talking about culture, things like that. I'm talking purely genetics.
Not about ethnic groups and
no, I'm talking purely genetics, innit?
There's a bit of difference.
It's maybe genetic, maybe
there's difference.
Because you have
the Guinea speakers and Amhara carry haplogroup J.
That's what we do.
And we carry haplogroup E1, B1B.
But
so
regardless, genetically as well.
There's a bit of a difference.
I disagree. I think it's very heterogeneous.
Yeah, what I'm saying is, listen to me. The most homogeneous. Everyone is mixed. Everyone is mixed. I'm saying compare us to any other people group. We are less mixed.
I say it's quite diverse. Even because you know they say that all Afro-Asiatic languages came from the Horn of Africa, right?
Yes.
And they said that is because there's so many different languages in that area, so many different like genetics. Like there's like in you know how you said there's Bantu Somali, right? In Eritrea, there's like Kunama Eritreans. There's different, like, there's so many different types of people.
The Bantu Somali
they migrated. They're not indigenous.
They weren't indigenous.
But with all due respect, none of us are indigenous apart from the Midgan. And let's be real. Midhab. Sorry.
But either way, there's so many.
Even I have
languages within Horn Africa. There's so many different. Like you said Oromo, Amhara, Tigrinya. I can name like 80, 100 different languages.
Yeah.
There's so many different people like in that area, and then you learn about that, and it's like it's fascinating.
Under all of those languages, whether you speak Tigrinya, Amharic, Somali, Oromo, they all come under the Afro-Asiatic language group.
Of course.
Tigrinya, Tigray, Amharic, they come under Semitic with Arabic and Hebrew. It does.
Semitic, and you lot come under
Cushitic.
But really and truly, we are Cushitic though as well. They just call it Semitic because of how the language is created. But we are also Cushitic, like you guys. We're Cushitic. Look at the way we look, we're Cushitic. Semitic is more like Shem, you know, Arabia is more.
Well, that's from, I think that's from a biblical perspective.
No,
I'm talking from the language perspective.
Yeah, from language perspective, yeah, we are Semitic.
Semitic language. Yeah. But from a language, the Cushites, they're not Cushites. They just say the Cushitic language groups, the Oromo, the Somali, the Afar.
You lot are more related.
Obviously, we're going to be more related. And
Yeah.
you, the Tigrinya speakers, and the Amharics, and the I'm probably missing some others. The Hararis.
Hararis, Habesha.
You're all
more related.
More related.
That's true.
So you could say in the whole of Africa, there's two groups.
You could claim that, two main
biggest groups. And then you have
Cushites and
not Cushitic speakers and Semitic speakers.
Because I see what you're trying to say.
Because Cushite, obviously you're Cushite as well. But we're Cushitic speakers and you're a Semitic speaker.
Yeah, but from language they call it Semitic.
Yeah.
From language,
So yeah.
Alright, hot chocolates.
Hot chocolates. Let's do this.
Was that part 3 in it?
Who's gonna do the bars? Content over here. No S cipher. No S cipher.
No.
You man, what's it called? Still Shias, fam. They do poetry, blood. Get it poetry.
You know what it was, yeah? A real talk. A brother Syrian girl came to me. I was surprised. I said, oh, yeah, I did. I was like,
Content over everything. From your melanin. Man, say it straight. Man, don't listen to BBC. Man, don't listen to...
Presence increasing, their intimidation increasing. I start worrying about my safety. I worry about my safety coming here openly speaking out against Islam and what I see Islam doing to this place in particular. So yeah, I am worried that in 5-10 years' time, if that continuation continues, it's going to be a scary place. I think the numbers of people that come here generally, the non-Islamic people that come here, is much lower than it used to be, and I think that's part of the result of this problem.